Well, hello everybody, welcome to another Zabbix video. This time I will talk about three different things, three kind of functionalities I really love to use. And those are baseline monitoring, which practically is a mechanism how we can avoid to use static trigger thresholds. Just a tiny example of that it will be. And then something I have never seen others are using, and that is using trigger description as a part of remedy operation. Like you can imagine a trigger expression is having a logic how to identify the problem, but the trigger description actually contains technical command how to fix the issue or how to investigate further or forward. And I'm using this already for at least 1 year, like using trigger description as a part of action. And then the third topic is quite a fancy like real life use case where like every person who gets involved into the monitoring, when they receive an email like CPU is too high, the next question is like, what if Zabbix could send you like which exact process is consuming that CPU? And I will cover one good workaround how to do that, and just to give away like to not give away too much expectation, like the way how we can deliver the process name to the email is of course by using two triggers, and one trigger will tell Zabbix please investigate further, and the second trigger will send you an email. And if that is something which feels too like I don't want to use it, like such a feeling, then because it's quite sad. Like why would I use two triggers to solve one problem? It's silly, it's stupid. But like the outcome, if you look on the outcome, the users might be very, very happy. Like when CPU is overloaded, they actually receive an email about process name, what's like scratching the process inside the Linux terminal. Let's start with this concept of the baseline. Like, what is a baseline monitoring? It's practically like avoiding static trigger thresholds, and there are some functions available like trend AVG, trend average, trend min, trend max, and we can use any function for the baseline monitoring. And here I'm using actually not the trend function, but just seeking back what is the normal CPU utilization, seeking back for 1 hour, and it will calculate the average. Like it will always understand what's the average CPU usage, and that will be kind of like a threshold. But on the top of that, I want to give like a little bit room, like just to increase the threshold a little bit up, so it's not a pure average. It's like adding 5 or 10% more. And why I'm like highlighting the functionality which did exist in the Zabbix like for a very, very long time, because when we study the documentation, then we usually, in a traditional sense, we are linking the baseline monitoring directly to the trigger, which kind of like hides the actual threshold, and it can get like I don't know, like at the beginner level, it may be very comforting to actually see what is that baseline threshold, and I choose to go this comforting path. That's the reason why the calculated item has been made. So the calculated item, like every minute, it will kind of look back and what is the average, add this like extra like 5 or extra 10, and the dynamic threshold can change. And my personal benefit is like using calculated item to kind of like have a solid item where I can always look back what was that baseline threshold. Okay, now on that bigger portion, like I will switch to the third subject about this fancy use case, like when CPU is hot. And the way how I approach this thing is like we have CPU trigger, this in the middle, information, CPU increase versus trends, like it's this trigger which is actually comparing the current CPU usage with the baseline, like what's for the server is some sort of average. This information trigger is doing that, like it's comparing with the baseline. And the magical part is inside the description. Like inside the description there is like a pointer, like what to do when this trigger goes into the problem state. And what I'm doing, like I'm using Zabbix sender utility together with the agent config, because this is necessary if agent use encryption, like Zabbix sender needs to know how to deliver the data in a secure way. And it sends back information to the same host where I'm like having this solution running, and then like some magical command which is which will kind of ask the operating system what is which process dominates with the CPU. So this is the user macro in the global level. Let's like open the global level just to show what it is. The global level is here. Macro, click, and this is the macro, like some CPU and let's see in the terminal, like it is the Zabbix sender command is kind of executing this command to immediately like sort, give me the percentage of the process who is leading, reverse the like list, because the process is usually at the bottom, and so it is at the top, and then I'm just printing a single process on screen like this. This is the current leader, and initial command was having like base 64 W0, which is a way to deliver textual data without thinking about any special characters like single quotes, double quotes, square brackets. Like there are so many special characters in possible, and by encoding to the base 64, it's like a very secure way to deliver anything you can it's a very reliable way to send the data. So the sender will execute this command and send this base 64 string to the trapper item, and the trapper item just waits for data to come. All two other triggers here, CPU activity and CPU hot, they are waiting for somebody to feed some information inside the trapper port. Unless nobody is sending any information, the trigger will never go into the problem state, like it's an impossible scenario. So they really wait for data arrive. And the reason I have two severities here is like, one is like if the CPU is just a little bit like out of the norm, it will record the trigger, it will record the evidence, but not send you any emails. And the last one, that's like the precious one, like you will actually receive some sort of SMS or email or open the ticket about that like process name who is leading. Okay, one thing which I didn't miss to explain, like here, like there is a trigger description, and how on earth this Zabbix knows when to execute this. And it's related to the tags. I made a tag collect extra, and then we have action who is targeting when the trigger is containing the tag collect with the value extra, And the magical moment is like operation. It is called execute trigger description, which is actually defined here on the left side. Alerts, scripts, and I made here a very, very simple picture, like here trigger description. This is built-in macro. Please execute trigger description on the agent. And like this is all magic it takes. Like now we can be flexible, put any interesting commands inside the trigger description and inside the action point, like when the problem comes, please execute this one, execute trigger description, and then it will call that command and try to supply with the information. Okay. Did I miss anything? Yeah, so this is the one who is kind of like gathering the information, and the last one, disaster, it's like a email notification in a classical sense, like nothing special. We have a email or some telegram going on, and if the trigger severity is disaster, then just send me a message. Nothing special, but the point here is to solve one problem, like one fancy goal, like everybody when the CPU is hot, everybody wants to receive like which process actually is the root cause. So we need 2 triggers in total to make this possible in a fancy way, I would say. Okay, let's have a demonstration. Does it even work? At first, visiting the problems page here. Let's try, like here, I have one host without problems, which is called Zabbix. Let's filter out like this. We have the spoiler already on screen, and let's try here on the server, which is called Zabbix. Let's try like to do tmux, open the tmux and do like MySQL dump Zabbix and pipe it to the like maximum compression -9, which is really bothering. File.sql.gz. Enter. So this is running in the background. Let's close the tmux and open like htop. Enter. And we can see like the CPU is not very happy about the XZ compression utility, and I don't see the process list actually on the top. Not sure why, but let's see how the Zabbix reacts. Going here to the dashboard, click just to see, like I have a built-in dashboard here, CPU usage, and I have 2 lines, like what is that imaginary baseline? It's taking the average and adding a little bit, like 10% on the average. We see the red line is average, and adding 10 more is the baseline. And now while the time is going by, let's filter out 5 minutes, like we see the CPU is going up. And one of the exciting things, like in the dashboarding, I will just go back to the initial thing while it's loading. Here in the dashboarding, when we open the trigger, here and here, the trigger is having like a tag CPU hot, and when I open the dashboard, data collection templates and like a dashboard here, and open here, there is like a fancy functionality in Zabbix that here problems, we can kind of target problem together with those lines. I made like CPU hot without any special like tags here, like show problems only on and only targeting the tag. And this is the reason why it is able to demonstrate in a very nice way. Here, like we see the CPU is going up, and like here it's critical threshold. And when I do the mouse over here, it is revealing like the root cause, like XZ -9 consumes now 71%. While falling back to the problems page, like what did happen in the background, apply, we can see some characteristics like this was the action which triggered to collect extra information. When I see here a remote command executed, when I click on the timestamp, I can see like it is actually doing Zabbix sender on that host, doing the special command, encoding to the base 64 and feeding back to the trapper item. And that other trigger just waits for the data to come. And this one is sending actually to my email. Okay, that is everything. Yeah. Maybe we are still very like excited. Will it work the second time? And let's enter another server, pod, and like tmax a, and like try stress CPU number 1, enter. So this is different server. It's still going through some proxy, and here like what we see, this is not having the htop, but here we see the stress command is running, consuming quite a juice of that server. So this one is running in on the pod server, and going back to the all hosts, visiting the pod server, no problems so far. And just 1 second ago, it did trigger actually like the data collection when we click on the timestamp. Again, it's like using that thing like method to use Zabbix sender to send information to the trapper, and voila! Yes, how cool is that? Again, like the root cause is just right in the headline in your email. Yeah, I did not explain. I think I did explain here. Like 2 things are. So this one is sending the emails, and this one is just putting the title in the graph. If we have the graph, we want to explore the graph, see all the root causes, why the CPU sometimes go up. So this average trigger will be responsible about drawing that graph. Okay, that is everything for this video. I'm very proud of this solution. It works very like. Maybe, yeah, I did not, I did the crash test just right now, like today, yesterday, just to make it reliable for entertaining. So it's not, I don't know, like maybe it for some reason it can. Yeah, one thing is agent timeout. I'm using the remote commands for active checks, and it was like since the agent is receiving as well like a CPU hit, it was not working with the default timeout 4 seconds. And I mean with the active checks only. So I did set the timeout to 28 seconds for agent side, and this is agent 7. Please don't use such big timeout on older agents, but on the 7 version it's quite safe to use big timeout. That's everything for this video. If you find it helpful, give it a thumbs up, and thanks for watching.